On this lesson on educator.com, lessons on e-marketing, we're going to go over the tools to help you optimize your website, create a social media account, and whatever it takes to enhance the amount of traffic going into your website. These tools can be used by anybody. You don't need to be a web developer, but if you are a web developer, it'll be a little bit easier for you. But if you're not, this is going to be just as easy. We're going to go over a lot of things today in this lesson, so let's go ahead and look at the overview. First of all, when it comes to SEO, Google, Bing, Yahoo, those search engines have a thing called a bot, okay, B-O-T. All right, and think about it as sort of like a robot, okay, but that's what they call it, a bot. A bot is a software. Okay, let's go ahead and create this little funny guy right here. And what he does is he goes around the different websites to look for so that they can be indexed, okay, by the search engine. Index is another word for finding, okay, and listing. Okay, and these bots do just that. And what these bots do is that they look at the code. Okay, they look for the code, and they want to make sure they're programmed to make sure that the code is done correctly. And that's what view source is. With view source, we look at the code. Okay, and then what we can do is we can make adjustments to the code, whether it's good enough or maybe we want to leave it alone. But either way, down the line, most businesses, they evolve, they change their products and services, or they have different means of communication. We're going to show you how to update the code, okay, by several editing tools. Okay, it's pretty easy, so don't worry about it. And we'll teach you how to download or upload and download a file. We want to keep the bots happy, so in this lesson we're going to go over the tools necessary to make that happen. Then we're going to talk about WordPress and Blogger. You're going to create an account with them. It's important to create an account. This lesson will be very, very easy. Again, we're not going to make it too difficult for you. It's just going to kind of overview of WordPress and Blogger. The codes, obviously there's going to be code, and yes, the bots visit them too, okay? They pretty much visit everything. As long as it's done correctly, you're going to do well in the search engines. All right, and then finally, the social media accounts. Obviously, you're going to have to create the top 5 social media accounts that I mentioned in the previous lesson, that being Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and then Pinterest. Again, there's hundreds of social media websites. We're going to focus on the 5. Visit the other ones if you like and create accounts with them as well. Hey, you know, you can't hurt. The more, the merrier. All right, so what will make the bots happy? Again, a bot is a little piece of code or a little bitty little entity that goes around. They look for websites. They study the websites. They kind of analyze a website, and then based on what they come up with, then they report back to Google, and then Google will determine how and where they're going to be placed. Now, I mentioned Google a lot over Bing and Yahoo. Well, that's because Google, okay, owns about, I would say, 80 to 90% of the search engine market. So it's kind of running away, it's kind of a one-person race here, unless Google and Bing does something drastic. Pretty much, Google is the one that we want to focus on, and because they're setting the standard on search engine dominance. So, anyway, let's go ahead and let's study about view source. If you're a web developer, you pretty much know this, but even if you don't know this, to view a source. Now, when I mean source, okay, I mean code. Okay, source is the HTML code, okay, or the programming, okay, behind the making of your website. Now, For those of you non-developers out there, you don't have to focus on the entire code, thank God. But it's important to know specifics on how to find and study the code. So if you're using Firefox, the way to find the code is to, now this is 2012, so I'm assuming you're using the latest version of Firefox. You can go to Firefox, open up your Firefox on the top menu. Okay, you go to Tools, and then you go to Web Developer, and then you go to Page Source. And that will list the source code in front of your eyes for you to look and study. If you're using Internet Explorer, okay, for those of you still using that, they keep it pretty simple because Microsoft is a developer's a developer's company. Just go to View, and then there's source. That's really all there's to it. And what it will do is it'll launch either Notepad or a default text editor for you to view the code. Now, you can't make any changes by view source. Okay, there's no making edits or any changes. If Notepad opens up and you see a bunch of letters and alphabets before you, you can't make any changes. You've got to download them, make the change, then re-upload them. Here is just viewing the source, okay? Whether you're using Mozilla, whether you're using Internet Explorer, and the next one, of course, is the ever-growing popular, the number one most used browser, at least the fastest-growing browser, is Chrome. Okay, so right-click on the web page. They kind of make it a little bit difficult because Chrome, for some reason, again, it's a Google product. They're pretty much running the world, aren't they? Chrome makes you right-click on the web page. So take your cursor on any blank area of the web page, okay? It could be here, it could be there, anywhere where there's no graphic or text. Just right-click and you will be able to view the source code because a menu will appear and click on that and you'll be able to view what you need to do. Give you an example, okay? Let's go ahead and open up a web page. Here is a gentleman who is an eye doctor, and if I wanted to view his source code, basically I will go down. Okay, this is Mozilla, so I will view the source code, and this appears. It appears as a separate entity. Okay, I know it's hard to see, so I'm going to increase the font size. And as you can see right here, all this is code that was used to create that one small page. We're going to be focusing on basically the head section of a website because that's what the bots look for. Okay, it's not the only thing they look for, so we're not going to focus, but we're going to focus that in for now. Okay, in the head section, you notice that we've got the title. That's very much important for search engines for relevancy. And then, of course, we look for keyword and description. Now, for many years, the keywords were considered high relevancy for the bots. Now, not so much, okay? But they do look for the title and they do look for the description. And as we move on with these lessons, I'm going to go over other important factors that the bots look for in a web page, okay? And just to give you a heads on, they look for the domain name. They also look for keywords inside the content of the web page. The reason why they don't give much relevancy on the keyword attribute, and for those of you, just note that these are tags, okay, and these are attributes. So meta is a tag, keyword is the attribute, and when it comes to search engine, the bots, they focus a lot on the head section and these tags and attributes, okay? And the reason why keywords weren't favored as much as they were before is because there's a lot of abuse, okay? So in other words, people would put in Microsoft, they would put in Apple, they would put in Ford or Toyota. You know, I mean, companies that obviously demand a lot of attention and generate a lot of traffic, so people are abusing that. And so they don't give it that much relevancy. And believe me, Google is smart enough to know, okay, the keywords don't match up with the content of this web page. we're going to just remove them from our search altogether. So not a smart thing to be abusive towards the search engines. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our slides. Okay, we'll go on to the next one here. All right, as I mentioned before, the whole purpose is to look for certain tags. Again, the header section right here. Okay, for those of you, here's a little bit of a lesson on coding. There's two sections on a website. Okay, if I was to draw a figure 8 here, or a snowman, okay, this is the head section, and this is the body. The head section is information about the site itself. Okay, the body section is information about the business. Okay. Forgive me because I'm kind of cramped over here. So anyways, you look over here, the head section here, we've got the title, we've got the meta keywords, and then we got the meta descriptions. Okay, the title, very heavily weighed upon the bots. They look at what's written in the bots. In this case, we have a eye doctor who, and you know, these are the terms that people will type in on the search engine to find this web page. So if you typed in Fontana eye doctor, this gentleman most likely will appear on the first page. Same thing, optometrist, eye care, contact lenses, glasses, eye checkup, all the good things so we can look at each other. Okay, and obviously notice the keywords he used is the town that he's located in and his profession, and also the services such as glasses, contact lenses. You know, you've been to eye doctors, better than going to a dentist, I would imagine. But this is what the gentleman did. I mean, he used a lot of relevant keywords. Okay, your town is a very important keyword. Your profession, your services, important keywords. Well, what's not so important, of course, the relevancy are the keyword attributes. I suggest doing it anyways because, again, if the bots determine that the keywords match the content, it matches the title, you know, there's some relevancy there, hey, thumbs up to you. You can't go wrong. You can only go wrong if you use different types of keywords. Like in this case, for instance, he added, now these are towns in Southern California, okay, for those of you outside the United States or outside of California. Fontana, Rialto, Chino, Mount Baldy, Inland Empire, all these are towns within Southern California. This gentleman is in Southern California, but he's an eye doctor, and notice the keywords he used: optometrist, eye doctor, see, sight, vision, laser. All these are services that he offers. Okay, and these are relevant, because that's exactly, he's not lying, he's being very truthful. This is what he does. Now, if he puts in dog food, or if he puts in Toyota, or if he puts in, I don't know, I guess another one, I don't know, Apple, Microsoft, all those big name, Coke, Pepsi, all those big name products and companies whose websites generate millions, he's probably going to get knocked off the search engine. And this person does appear on top of the search engine. He's a very smart man. We're not going to mess with it, so we're going to leave it away. We don't need those keywords, and it's kind of foolish. Why would you use keywords that have nothing to do with your services? Okay, so, and of course, this person is only focused on his immediate area. You know, we don't go 50 miles to go see an eye doctor unless you live in a farm. But, you know, this is what this person does. Now, description is another important feature of search engines. We're going to go over and study in depth what a search engine results and what they look for. But for the most part, he writes a very relevant, very short and succinct paragraph. If you ever looked at a search result, there's a paragraph underneath the name of the company and the website address. The information just below that, this is what the search engines communicate. So we're going to teach you how to edit all this. I don't mean to go too much into the coding, but this is what you will be focused on. You'll be focused on editing. Okay. All right, let's move over. The tools to edit. So for those of your webmasters or web designers, pretty easy for you. I'm sure most of you know about Dreamweaver. For the business part, for the business people, you may want to try Composer, KOMPOZER.net. All right, KOMPOZER.net. It's free. That's right, free. It's a free software. Download it, and we can update and maintain websites. For those of you who bought Dreamweaver, sorry, but hey, it's all good, you know. Dreamweaver is kind of expensive. It belongs, you can go to adobe.com. I don't know what the price is. Last time I checked, it was something like, I don't know, $1,100 to buy the entire Adobe suite. I think maybe a little bit more. If you're a student, however, you can go ahead and purchase this at a much far reduced price. If you are a student at a college or university, you can also find the Dreamweaver on eBay. Okay, I don't recommend piracy. I don't like it. I don't favor it. It's bad. Get you in big trouble. Okay, so don't do it. I'm not going to recommend it. If you feel you need to pirate Dreamweaver, just go to Composer. Get that one. It's free. And just leave a donation for the guys who created it. I thought it was very generous of them. So go ahead and leave a small donation, 20, 30 bucks, whatever you can afford. They'll appreciate it. Now, we're also going to, I also talk about maintaining a website. Photoshop is a good way to maintain images. Also, Paint and Paint. These are the two Paint programs. This one is in Windows. Okay, I think they have a Paint, and I think this is called Paint Box, but this is a Mac version. So most computer systems has an editable image editor within them. Now, why do I mention about images when we're here to talk about SEO? Because images are very important. We're going to talk about how images play in the role of search engine optimization. When you go to Google, you know there's images there. Well, we want to make sure that your images appear there as well. All right, let's move on over. Now, uploading and downloading. Again, as I mentioned before, just because you view a source doesn't mean you can edit. In fact, you can't edit. Okay, doesn't matter which browser it is. You cannot edit by view sourcing a website. You have to first download it. Now, if you're using Windows, FileZilla, if you do it, just go to Google and do a keyword search on FileZilla or Fetch. This is for the Mac. This is for Windows. Okay, it allows you to upload and download. In this lesson, we'll basically download a file, look at the source code, and then we'll go ahead and upload it. Now, I wish I could backtrack a little bit, but I'll mention also, instead of Dreamweaver or Composer, okay, we can also use some text editors. We can use EditPad. Okay, we can also use Simple Text if you're using a Mac. Okay, because after all, we're only focused on certain things about the code. Okay, we're going to focus on the head section. It's not hard to find, but there are other things within the code, within the body. Okay, remember I told you that the website is composed of two sections. There is the head, and then there is the body. Okay, most of what we need to do is going to be focused on the head, but the body is very important because the bots, they look at the body to make sure it matches the head. Okay, I'm sure we all like our heads to match our bodies, wouldn't we? So we want to make sure this all works good. And again, the editing tools that I mentioned before is going to be relevant, Dreamweaver or Composer. And these are additional tools, FileZilla and Fetch, are the tools of choice that we're going to be using for these lessons. And why do I say this? Is because they are free. We love free, don't we? Okay, we mentioned free a lot of times in these lessons. We're going to mention one more time. So these are free software. Download them, and we'll study them in future lessons. So stay tuned. All right, and we'll go into the blogging accounts. Okay, in these lessons, we're going to talk about how to blog and Now you may think, okay, well, how difficult it is. If we're just going to write articles, we're just going to write stuff, I guess. Well, it is important because remember what these bots, okay, here's our bot again, okay. We should name this bot, okay. He's going to look for relevancy, okay. I'm going to choose a different color here. Relevancy, okay. So doesn't matter where the content is located, whether it's in your website or your blog. You got to make sure that they have the same keywords, okay? So if you're selling cars, you want to mention that. If you're an auto body shop, okay, you want to mention auto body shop in both your website and your blog. Okay? And then of course the beauty of blogs is that there's going to be a link back to website. Okay? It's going to go back to the website. This is an art called link exchange. Okay? In other words, it goes back. That's what Google really looks for, is how many websites or how many other places links back to your website. Okay? And that's the beauty of blogging. Also, the bots look for, well, how does this business educate others? Okay, and the nice thing about blogging is that it'll increase. Oops, sorry about that. I'm kind of getting a little messy here. Increase readership, okay, or viewership, which means kind of increases the amount of traffic. Okay, so whether you use WordPress or Blogger, okay, and we're going to go over a little bit. So let's go to our Mozilla here, and we're done with the good doctor over here. Let's go right here. So if you open up WordPress.com, let's go ahead and increase the size of this. Well, for the most part, again, WordPress.com. Now, with WordPress, find out if your web host offers WordPress, because most web hosting companies, whether using GoDaddy or HostMonster or Network Solutions, they offer WordPress within the server, so you can install it, and WordPress will appear under your domain name. If you go to WordPress.com, well, I think it's going to appear something like, and let me go ahead and reduce this, okay? It's not that important what the domain name is, but if you go to WordPress, it'll be something like your bizname .wordpress. I'm running out of room here. .com. Okay. If you ask your host, then it would be it'll be your business name .com/blog. So you can actually assign a folder under your business name. Whichever one you like the best. I would be very weary of security, because one thing that these blogging software have is a lot of spamming, a lot of malware that come in and try to mess things up for all. You have to be aware of that. And I know a situation where in GoDaddy there was an issue where I had to uninstall WordPress because there was so much garbage coming in from different people. It kind of made me look bad, so I uninstalled it. But since then, GoDaddy has fixed the problem, and it works great. Again, if you want to use the WordPress website in itself, right here, you can go ahead and do that. All you got to do is press the Get Started button right there, the big Get Started, the orange button over there, and you are on your way and to go ahead and blog. Okay, we're going to go into WordPress at a later lesson. Okay, in the meantime, let's study the next big thing is Blogger. Now here you see Blogger right here. Okay, can't highlight it, but anyways, there it is right there. Create a blog, it's free, and it is free. And all you got to do is have a Google account. So you can sign in right here, but if you're not, then you're going to have to sign up. Okay, see in the upper right over there, you have to pretty much sign up. The nice thing about Google is that you've got a whole host of products out there. You can use Gmail, you can use their calendar, which I really enjoy. You can use their Docs program, and of course Google Plus we'll go over in a few seconds. but you need to have a Google account in order to use a Blogger account. So that's it. I think that's an okay thing. After all, it is a Google product. But whether you're going to use WordPress or whether you're going to use Blogger, it's strictly up to you. Either one, I kind of like them both. Okay, I use them both. Okay, so let's go on to the next field. And the other thing we're going to have to ask you to do is to create social media accounts. And as I mentioned before, there are hundreds of social media out there. And you may want to study what are the best social media accounts for me. Musicians, I know a lot of musicians that are still on MySpace. Okay, I mean, it's still kicking. MySpace is still around. I have a MySpace account. I still use it. But there's other things that we can also use, like Bebo. Okay, that's another website for musicians. So then there's also Friendster. Okay, these are not as popular as the the five logos that you see here, but they're still there, and they all have millions and millions of people that still use it. Okay, it's all about percentage. Of course, Facebook over here is the third most populous country in the world. Okay, most populous nation. Okay, and I think it's got something like, I don't know, maybe 800 million people. Kind of crazy, huh? So let's go into our Mozilla here, and let's look at the sign-up pages. It's pretty simple. They really make it simple. So you may already have a Facebook account, but if you don't, better get with the times. We're going to be discussing that in these lessons. So here it is. All you got to do is sign up right here. Name, email. Now, be very wary, okay? Do not put in your business name, because Facebook will not allow it. They want you to have a personal page, create a personal account. From there, we can create group pages that emphasize your business. So first, you got to create an account with your name and your first name and your last name. I don't see it as a big deal. Of course, you got to be over 13 to do that, and that's where it's all at. So this is just go to facebook.com. Okay, the next thing is Twitter. Here's a Twitter sign-up page, twitter.com. Okay, linkedin.com. Notice that it's pretty simple. It's all on the home page. Here's Google+. Again, you just got to go to Google. If you don't have an account right here, it says create an account. I'll go ahead and beef it up a little bit for you. Create an account right here, okay, in orange. So you can go that. Now, Pinterest is a little different. Pinterest is sort of like a country club. They want you to get invited. So when I signed up for Pinterest, I had not been invited. But hey, you can go ahead and request an invite, and then you go to the next page. Go ahead, put in your email address here, and request an invitation. If you like, you can email me right here, jimhaig@hotmail.com. I will be happy to make the recommendation for you. So that's pretty much all for this lesson. And stay tuned for the next lesson on e-marketing here on educator.com.